saying that me and Paul were sharing monies.
Very clear. If we're going to do anything like 10 song, let 5 be coming from you, let 5 be coming from me.
And decided that they are not going to need me for the P Square moving forward.
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the P Square saga. It's a family feud anyway, and nobody can tell exactly what's going on in the family except if they themselves, I mean the three brothers, Peter, Paul and Jude, they come out and see exactly what's going on. And then people has been saying a lot of things, and that Jude and Paul has been siding, that is, they've been on one side and putting all the blame on Peter. Now, Paul has attended quite a lot of interviews recently. Jude released a video recently also talking about what has been happening for the last 15 years among the three brothers. Peter also wrote what I'll call a long letter on X, and also released a couple of videos as well debunking what Paul has been saying and what Jude also said as well. But what I noticed on social media was that some content creators, what they did about the whole thing was they released individual videos in which the three brothers were giving an account of what happened. But in this video, I won't make it a very, very long video anyway, but I combined the three speeches of the brothers and I brought out some very, very important points. I'm not going to take anybody's side. I'll let you decide who is the bone of that, is the person who has been causing misunderstanding between them. I'll let you deduce that yourself by the end of the video. But before going into what the brothers said in the three different interviews, I want to take you down the memory lane. How did this quest started, and how did they rise to fame, and how did the whole feud or misunderstanding started? This quest began in St. Morumba Secondary School, a small Catholic school in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. See, Peter and Paul joined their music school and drama club, where they began singing, dancing, and mimicking songs by MC Hammer, Bobby Brown and Michael Jackson. Drawing inspiration from their music idol Michael Jackson, they began breakdancing. They formed the group they called the Smooth Criminals back in the day. I think around 1997 or so. Their artistic talent and precise dance routine soon made them household names in the city of Jos, where they performed at school functions and other occasions. So later in 1990, I think around 1999, yes, they applied to the University of Abuja to study business administration, and then the Smooth Criminal group, they all parted and went separate ways, because they had some other things to do as well. They had to pursue some kind of goals or other ambitions in life. So after that, Peter and Paul formed their own group, variously called Double P. From Double P, they began bearing what I'll call P and P. Yes, P and P. They moved on to their P's until they eventually settled for P Square. They were managed by Bayo Odusomi, aka OET, a seasoned concert promoter and the CEO of Adros Nigeria Limited. In 2001, P Square won the Grab the Mic competition, and hence Benson and Edges sponsored their debut album titled I think Last Night, yes, which was released under Timbuktu music label. P Square was also nominated as the most promising African group in Kora Awards 3 months after the release of their debut album. They eventually won the 2003 Amen Awards for the best R&B group. Then in 2005, they released their second album, Get Squared, under their own label, Square Records. See, this album was marketed nationwide by Tijo Enterprises, although they were still managed by OET of Adros Nigeria Limited. See, the video for the second album held the #1 position on the MTV Base chart for I think 4 weeks straight or so. See, the group they performed with artists like Gino Wine, Sean Paul, Akon, among others. Late in 2007, they released their best-selling album so far, which really shook the whole place. Game Over, which sold over 8 million copies worldwide. And now in 2009, P Square released their fourth studio album, Danger. The album features collaborations with Two-Face, Idibia, Jay Martins, and Frenzy. See, behind the scenes, tensions began to rise between the pair due to what I'll call disagreements over management and financial decisions. The personal differences also started to surface over time, which impacted their working relationship. See, the rumors of their split first made headlines in 2015, but it was around 2017, yes, 2017, that it became apparent that the center could not longer hold. In September, Peter Okoye announced his departure from P-Square, citing ongoing disagreements and irreconcilable differences with his brother Paul and their management. The announcement led to a flurry of social media posts here and there and interviews with both brothers expressing their frustrations and grievances. There was a viral video of the brothers almost exchanging blows at their lawyer's office while insulting each other. I tried looking for that video online, but it has been deleted. The link to it has been taken off completely. Now, when the fight between Peter and Paul started, Jude Okoye, their elder brother and longtime manager, seemed to be taking the side of Paul. Peter's side of the story. Now, it was reported in the news that Peter had chosen to terminate his contractual agreement between the group, saying that he won't betray his wife and his kids for the group. Peter had reported that Paul cancelled their US tour shows without his knowledge, that he even cancelled all the shows that they have already booked for. Peter also claims that their elder brother Jude threatened to kill him in the presence of Paul and the wife of the former governor of Cross River State, Mrs. Imoke. Now, according to Peter, he fears for his life and that of his family, claiming that Paul has been threatening his wife. He reported last year that he tried to resolve things with his brothers just to please the fans, that they all agreed to release a video, each to apologize to their fans, which he did, but Paul and Jude refused, thereby making him look like the bad guy in the eye of the public. Now, that's all on the end of Peter. Now, let's talk about the side of Paul. Paul, otherwise known as Rude Boy, explained that their 2016 separation was caused by a public's misconception about who primarily writes the songs and sings it. Now, he explained that before they collaborated with T.I., there was debate among their fans that Paul Rude Boy was actually the songwriter, and then Peter has been the one who has been dancing all along.
All of a sudden, they now start telling you some things. Why you allowing him do all the song? Why are you making them looking at you as a dancer? Call him the singer. It's starting into your head,
and it starts to grow.
And you start growing. Then you start acting somehow, So,
but
Rude Boy acknowledges contributed to their 2017 separation and affected their song Ejiajo with T.I., as fans missed his signature voice on their tracks. You see, in an interview with media personality published on Tuesday, let me try to remember the date. I think June 7, 2022. Rude Boy revealed that the split was caused by family issues and was not music related. Now, Paul stated that despite the anger from fans following the split, he kept mute and didn't say anything because he knew that the issue was just family related. But let's think about it. Is it just family related or business related? Yes, maybe between the family, but something might have been happening which have affected the business among the three brothers. Now, according to him, P-Square was the sacrifice that was paid for the family issue. He said, in his words, "I kept silent. I never said anything. I never said anything because I knew what the problem was. It was a family issue, and it turned out that P-Square had to pay for it. P-Square was just a sacrifice." Now, Rude Boy added that due to his love for his family, he does not owe anybody an explanation. It was just a family issue. It had nothing to do with the music. Now, and because I respect family so much, I owe nobody an explanation, Rude Boy said. After almost 5 years of separation, the twin brothers reconciled in November 2021 to the surprise of their fans. More than 2 years after their highly publicized reunion, Paul, aka Rude Boy, as we know him, confirmed the latest separation with his twin brother Peter, aka Mr. P, during a recent interview with a popular FM station. I think that's 101.5 FM. See, this time around, our elder brother Jude Okoye, who people accused of causing issues among us, was no longer in the picture. That was what he said. Now, when he came back, Jude was not even in the picture at all. No manager, no director, nothing. He was just on his own. Now, there's a lot of things people don't know, in his words, And that's why I always tell people, mind the people you bring close, especially people that were never there when you were somewhere. He said in his words, the plan of our coming back together was going to produce a lot of hit albums. But as it is now, I'm just focusing on Rude Boy. Trust me, it's not everything that I would want to say, he said. And in his words again, I was accused of saying that he, Peter, was the dancer while I'm the singer. I know that whenever I go to the airport, people ask, are you a singer or a dancer? Referring to Peter and Paul. I didn't know it was touching him in his words, but I know there was a time we came together and said, don't allow this to get to you. You should be proud of whatever you are doing. That's the role you are playing.
Like, you see, I was being accused of keep saying that he's the dancer, I'm the singer. I was accused of such. But I know whenever we go to the airport or people see us together, they say, are you the singer or the dancer? I didn't know it was touching him. But I know there's a time we've come together and say, don't allow this thing get into you. You should be proud of what you're doing.
We have a song we did with T.I., Ejajo. That was when the issue started. Till today, the song is still on 3 million views 15 years after, because people didn't hear the P-Square's voice that they are used to.
Called. I keep forgetting the name of that song.
Ejajo,
yes.
Now,
yes.
That was when the issue started. Paul, you need to let me start. And the song came out featuring T.I. Till today, I believe it's like 15 years. It's still on 3 million views. Why? Because the content of that song, they did not hear that voice. They did not hear that kind of thing they want to hear. They have something to say. This is not peaceful. You know, as much as you're seeing peaceful in the video, nothing.
Now, what can be deduced from what Paul said here was that the track was a failure on YouTube. It had about 15 million views, because it missed the touch of flavor that Paul normally added to the music. Now, in his words, when we came back together, because I didn't want the issues that happened before to take place again, I told my brother to show himself. Let us be involved in the creative process together. I told him we should share I told him we should share who carries the tracks equally, but still it wasn't working. Now, when I watched the interview, what Paul was saying was that, okay, in order to avoid any misunderstanding between us, let's take, for example, we want to release an album in which there will be 10 tracks in that album. You bring 5 tracks and I'll bring 5 tracks. Do all your editing on those tracks, I'll do all the editing on my tracks. In order to just maintain that picture of P-Square, market your own 5 tracks, I'll market my own 5 tracks. Whichever one blows among those tracks, fine. When we get to shows, we'll get called for shows and so on. Whatever money we'll get in it, we'll split it 50-50, and then we'll both enjoy the whole part of the deal. But instead, Peter, he refused. He backed out and said he's not even interested in doing anything with Paul anymore.
P-Square touch. And I made it clear, if we're going to do anything like 10 songs, let 5 be coming from you, let 5 be coming from me.
Equal.
When I mean 5 coming, I don't need to be stressed about I'm doing a song, I'm writing a song. I don't want to be distracted by you changing the how it goes.
Sound
So
and everything.
let it remain. Because you can drop 10 track album, 3 can be the hit and it's a successful album.
Yeah, true.
So I needed to protect it, but it wasn't working.
So do you feel like the being people?
But that's
like,
why now whenever I do the Rude Boy, everybody keeps saying, "But this thing they are hearing now," because I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But if I can't, the new P-Square was more like, okay, there was peace, there was everything, but I needed the mistake of all that stuff not to happen. And all of a sudden, the same thing again, saying he's no more doing. Okay, fine, you're not doing. Okay, fine. Okay, that means what's going to happen now?
So
in fact, the one I even had was he told me in his face that in fact he wants to quit. I said, okay, can we make it public? No.
Now, what I noticed was that in recent times, Paul has been quiet and Peter has been doing all the talking on social media, blaming his brother Jude as well as Paul for all the rifts that has been taking place all the while. But now that Paul has started speaking up, the truth has been brought to light, is being brought to light gradually. Now, Paul said even though he was the one writing 99% of the songs, Peter still accused him of diverting P-Square funds and filed a suit against him in the EFCC. Paul talked about the lavish lifestyle of Peter, how he, Paul, invested and saved his money. He said after all investigations by the AFCC, he was innocent and was set free, and his brother Paul didn't even apologize or even say sorry or even see anything wrong in what he did.
The accusation was even more like he sold P-Square catalog, that is his share. The same catalog that I hate saying it, but the same catalog that I produced, I wrote, 99% me, 99%. Yeah, sometimes the fans don't like me saying it. Like I said, I'm saying it now. 99% of all the song is me, but I'm still accused of diverting P-Square funds and blah blah blah. Now I've been cleared. What next?
It's simple. I'm sorry. Insofar.
Bro, leaves. I'm sorry first. For now, I'm not even ready for that. I just want to continue my road boy. I know this thing will scatter internet, no matter the ones when they do. But I'm not. I'm just saying it because I want to advise on people. See, not everything. I'm going to say not everything anger. Don't ever use anger, because you can be angry and you'll be talking. And I love the fact that this is not even the first time this thing is coming up. But for the first time, I think he went to the right place. Yes, this is made in Siam. So now they finish the investigation. Now I'm free. I'm innocent. I'm cleared.
I think we know the answer to this question I'm about to ask, because is it
now when asked about coming back together, Paul didn't give any positive response. So that was why people said or concluded they're broken up and that they are not together anymore. Now, in response to this interview, I saw on X, Peter he released a letter on X, a very, very long letter, talking about how Paul has making him look like the bad person and that he's not even good enough to be in the group. Now, I'll read the letter. I'll just read a bit of the letter for you, and then we'll move on to what the brother has to say in the 1 hour video he released, talking about all the things that have been happening in the past. Now, in his letter, my dear brother Paul, just like I've told you several times, I'm not in any competition with you or anybody else. However, seeing you grant countless interviews where you constantly discredit my efforts in the group that we both created and built together really speaks volumes. In your recent interviews, you claim that you wrote and sang 99% of all P-Square songs and discredited me by saying that our song with T.I. Ejajo, which I wrote, was a failure. Now, you went as far as using the YouTube views to discredit me once again. You never acknowledged the other songs like Get Squared, Busybody, Personally, Roll It, Temptation, Alingo, More Than a Friend, Shekini, Say Your Love, Give Me That, Senorita, Igbedu, and so on. Were these songs also considered failures as well? Every time I've spoken in interviews about P-Square, I've always used we and us because I saw us as a team. But whenever you speak, it's always I and me. Even when I'm standing right beside you, it's as if I never existed in the rest. In the rest of the letter, Peter wrote as if Paul was the reason for their breakup. After all the drama on social media, their brother Jude Okoye finally broke silence in an interview which lasted for more than an hour. He said the whole drama started at the end of 2013 and continued to the end of 2014 and escalated until 2017 when they broke up. And after 4 to 5 years, P-Square came back together. Listen to what he has to say.
P-Square started having issues from 2013 ending to early of 2014. I tried as much as possible to, because it has been going on since, but from 2013, 2014 was when it went out to the public, when it became public knowledge. And by then, it was so difficult then to curtail, because once something seeps out to the public, it becomes a public thing that you cannot be able to take back. So from 2014, P-Square had issues, 2015, 2016, 2017. Then they now had a break of almost 5 years and came back in 2020, ending of 2021. And now again, they're having issues again. Why I'm here is because
He continued by saying since 2016, he wasn't with P Square at all. He was not their manager, he was not their director, but whenever there is a rift or a misunderstanding between the two brothers, Paul and Peter, they still find a way to get him involved in the whole thing. In December 2023, Jude said Peter filed a petition against him, accusing him of siphoning P Square's money into his private account. So he was invited by the EFCC to give an account of how 250,000 naira was, which was his share of being the manager entered his private account. Here is what he has to say about it.
I was like, no. This is royalties. Paul has the same publishing royalty coming to him every quarter. Peter has the same royalties coming to him every quarter. Jude has royalties also coming to him every quarter. We have an agreement within the three of us that anything that has to do with P Square proceeds goes three ways to the three of us. Peter gets his own, he shares with us. Paul gets his own, he shares with us. I get my own, I share with two of them. That's how it has been going. Until 2017, or rather, 2017.
Now, he then explained to the EFCC how royalties were shared, that 40% of the royalties goes to him, and Peter and Paul shared 60% between themselves. Yeah, listen to what he has to say about that as well.
And I get them all the documents. The guy looked at it and was like, wow, did Peter sign this? I said, look at his signature. This is the CAC that we opened the company with, both Square Records and Northside Entertainment. They were like, you are even more than P Square. I was like, I don't understand what you mean. They said, look, you are entitled to 40% shares, while the two of them are entitled to 30%, 30%. I said, well, I'm not supposed to say it with my mouth, you can see.
He went on by saying when fans were only interested in P Square and not what the truth holds of what's really going on in the back end. So he has to step aside in order to avoid any form of insult or bad comments on the social media. Now, as if that wasn't enough, Peter filed another suit in the EFCC, accusing him and Paul for sharing money behind his back, saying Paul got $100,000 at one time and $150,000 at another time, and he got nothing. Here's what Jude Okoye has to say about that.
Of the whole thing, saying that me and Paul were sharing monies without giving him his own share. He now pointed out where there was an account where Paul had $100,000 and there is none for him. Another place where Paul had $150,000, there was none for him, and one of whatever. Then I was like, okay, let me go and look at it and find out what, because it's been like, that was 2013 and 2014. I said, let me go and check it. That was over 10 years ago. 2-3 days later, I came back with my defense and I was like, this $100,000 he's complaining about was exactly the same day he got engaged to his girlfriend, then girlfriend, now wife. He bought a Range Rover for her, same day, same time. Paul did not buy Range Rover for anybody. He said, Jude, put my own in my own account, and I did that. Why are you calling EFCC on me to come and explain what Paul is doing with $100,000 in his account when you use your own to buy a Range Rover to engage your wife? Same day. The second one of $150,000 was on the middle of January 2014. You told me you wanted to buy a Bentley. I gave you $200,000. Paul said, I'm not buying a Bentley. Put $150,000 in my account and send me $50,000 to go to America to catch fun with. And now you are asking me to come to EFCC to come and explain why Paul has $150,000 in his account and you don't have yours. Paul has $150,000 in an account, you had a Bentley. The thing was...
Now, in order to clear the air, for people who think he always sides with Paul and always blames Peter for being the one at fault, he talked about a scenario in which the three, Peter, Paul, and Jude, held a meeting in Paul's house and said Paul said that the condition on which Peter gave was that in order for P Square to come back together, Jude has to be taken out of the picture. Now that is to say, Paul connived with Peter to kick out Jude from the whole thing. Here is what Jude has to say.
I went to Paul's house. Peter was seated, Paul was seated. I sat down. Then Peter was like, they have had a meeting yesterday and decided that they are not going to need me for the P Square moving forward. I was like, why? Said because that is the condition he gave Paul if they are going to come back as P Square, that Jude is not going to get involved.
So add insult to injury, Jude said Paul and Peter made the documents and sent it to the people in charge of their royalties in order to undermine his authority and have him removed from the catalog, which means he won't be entitled to any of the agreed royalties they signed and he was supposed to get at the end of the day.
Do to whom it may concern, whatever, send it to people that are sharing our royalties to undermine my authority and remove me from catalog. Meaning, okay, you have removed me from P Square, now you want to remove the only legacy I have to show that I was once a part of P Square.
And when told why haven't elders or family members, other family members that as well interfered in the ongoing rift among the three brothers, Jude said uncles, aunties, elders of their village, late Ifeanyi Umba, some ministers rather, Dantata, and prominent people in the society have interfered but to no avail. And when they begin to get to the root of the matter and things are not going the way Peter wants, he'll go off and then walk out of the scene.
They hear from him, they hear from me, they hear from Peter, and they're making a final submission, and the submission is not going towards Peter's favor. You explode and walk out. Steady.
Jude said what really baffled him and gave him heartache as he was speaking was when Peter came to his house cheerfully and played with his son and even borrowed a hand tool from him, not knowing that Peter has filed a petition against him. That's the third petition against him in the EFCC, accusing him of mismanagement of P Square funds.
I was like, oh my God, this guy came to my compound to come and play with my son, knowing fully well he just wrote and submitted a petition against me. I couldn't put that together. I almost lost my mind.
Now he asserted that his wife had nothing to do with EFCC case and Peter was only trying to make the whole situation sensational. He further said that his wife's name was only used as a seconder to open the account of the company in question. She had no access to the accounts, how things were run in the company, and so on. Finally, he said the case is still in the EFCC and he will keep Nigerians posted about it. Now, by the end of the whole thing, you should be able to know who has been the reason for the misunderstanding among the three brothers. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on whatever videos that come out after this particular video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so.